Hello to all of my dreamers out there. I am the channeling goddess. If you are new here, hi, hello. If you are returning back, welcome back. So today we are going to be doing another dream interpretation. This one is pretty long, so it is all over the place, but we will be getting the messages that Spirit has for us. Now, before we get started, here are a couple of disclaimers. Number one, these are my interpretations of my own dreams. So if you hear the message that I am getting, or you hear my dream and you feel that there is a different interpretation for you, then you are using this video for the exact purpose it was meant for, okay? It is okay if your interpretation of my dream is not what you get and you get something totally different. That is perfectly fine. Disclaimer number two, if you are looking for specific messages to come out during this dream interpretation, so that you know that you're in the right pile or know that you are on the right video, it is helpful to set your intentions for that before. And I just see 101. It is helpful to set your intentions for that. So sometimes things that I like to do is I like to ask Spirit to have specific numbers come out, or a specific animal, or a specific card. Like if you're into tarot cards and you know that there are specific cards. I don't do a lot with tarot cards. I consider myself more of an oracle reader. So I would definitely say look for signs, look for numbers, look for colors if that's something that resonates with you. That just helps you understand if you are in this, you're in the right video. And then another thing that I like to do is to tap into my own intuition to hear the messages that Spirit is giving to me. So there are two ways that I like to do this. So one is by stepping in the grass or putting my feet in grass and doing some nice inhales, or you can just sit in a chair and put your feet on the floor or lay flat on your back on the bed and just take some mindful deep breaths. So normally I inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 3, and exhale for 5 to 6 seconds. Okay, this just helps you get more in touch with your own intuition and helps you to hear the messages that Spirit has for you. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Make sure that you get your coffee, your tea, your water, your vodka, whatever it is that you need, and then we'll get started on the dream interpretation. Okay, so like I said, this dream is all over the place, so just bear with me, okay? So it says, in my dream, we were in a war zone, but before we got there, I was in this bathroom that had 3 stalls, and they were so low, I could almost see directly into the stall. I stood in front of them, trying to be discreet while putting my blue bra over my shirt. Then I walked out and eventually put my bra on right, okay? Eventually, I end up in a war zone where we are running and lined up, and the general tells us to hold on. At some point, we are laying on the ground, one right behind the other. So it's like when the general told us to hold, we had to. So imagine getting on the ground with your weapons, like kind of what you see like on army movies. That's what it looked like to me. Okay. And we got on the ground, one right behind the other. Okay. Then I said, we see a woman and her child driving down in an old time car, right? The woman is European. Someone tries to stop her, but she doesn't seem to hear them, or she doesn't want to stop. She starts cutting out a circle in the front of her bumper, which I thought was so weird. And she puts a hole in the wall so she can see inside. So this sounds all over the place, but the best way I can describe it is like, take a car, right? The bumper of the car, she puts a hole in the car, but she also puts a hole in the wall so that she can see, okay? Best way I can describe it, okay? It says, her car starts to roll, and by the time she realizes, because I don't even think she realized she was in a war zone, by the time she realized what she just saw and what's happening, and she stops the car, it's much too late. She has gotten just enough in view for the enemy to actually see her, okay? She has 2 children and one is a small baby in the car, okay? The enemy shoots up the car, okay? Now, the dream goes from the enemy shooting up the car to jumping to me standing at a crossroads where people come by headed to certain places, right? So you know, a crossroad is like, think of like a cross. They can go right, they can go left, they can go north, or they can go south, okay? Excuse me. Then it says, One European American calls me out of my name. I think he calls me a dog or a monkey when he walked past me with some guy right behind him. I think I end up with the two children. So the two children that were in the car, now I have those children, okay? I also end up helping a man, and we start going down this particular path. So I'm helping them go down this path, okay? Also, someone who could potentially be the woman's husband, so the woman that was in the car, is mad at the lady who was driving because she drove her family into like the war zone, right? I didn't get to hear their conversation because I knew I had a task to do. I had to guide these people down this path, okay? Then it says, there are a few people on this path with me, and there was a little boy with us as well, and he had ran so far ahead, and I had to tell him to slow down, to make sure he stays in a place where I can see him, okay? He slows down so that I could catch up to him, okay? Then there was a man there who was talking to his mom and telling her about how I saved his ass. She laughed, saying, I absolutely believe you. Then I was responsible for taking or escorting like a crap load of scorpions. One scorpion had a dog in its grasp, and the dog was howling. So just imagine a scorpion holding on to a dog, and the dog was howling. Okay. And then it says, finally the scorpion let him go, while another scorpion helped to get what looked like an orange out of a cup. When it came off, it peeled like an orange. So for some reason, not the orange itself, but the cup peeled like an orange, okay? So it says, there was also a small dog that was barking at everything, and I had to stop it from barking at maybe a little young scorpion, so like a baby scorpion. I think it was also taking dogs as well. Then someone said I needed to take the baby monkeys with me, and I didn't want to because I thought they were gonna shit all over my house. I saw two black feathers that were turned in the opposite direction on the ground when something was passed on. Don't really know what that means, but that's what I wrote. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So the very beginning is us being in the war zone, and then I said I was in 3 bathroom stalls, or I was in a bathroom that had 3 bathroom stalls. The number 3 has been coming out very significantly for me, probably in the last 6 or 7 months. Well, no. I would say for the last month. It's been coming out in my dreams. That's more specific. And it's funny to me that I am reading this dream, and I want to see when this was. Yeah, this was in December of last year. So the fact that it's coming, the fact that I'm reading a dream that has 3 in it from last year, is Spirit is keeping me on the vibration of 3, right? I also think that there may be some things that are going to happen for me in 3s, but that's a whole nother video, okay? So we ended up going, and the color blue, I want to put that out there because that may be relevant to someone else. The color blue and the number 3 have been coming up for me very heavily. So for some of you, you may have been seeing the number 333. You may have been seeing things happen in 3s. You may have been dreaming in blue. So that may be a confirmation for you, okay? Some of you, you may be getting called forth or being reached out to by a water spirit. I am also, and I don't want to, because I don't want to turn it over, but I'm also being drawn to the color on this card, these planets card. And this is the North Node. I just want to put that out there. So a lot of you may be drawn to the color blue. But let's just keep going, okay? So it says, we end up in a war zone, and the general, we're running, and the general tells us to hold on, right? So because we're holding on, he asks us to crouch down, or his saying hold on is like signal for us to crouch down, to like be on alert, because he knows that there are enemies past this line, right? Then the woman and her 2 children come by. One of them is a baby, okay? They come by, and someone is trying to stop them, but she doesn't hear, right? She keeps going. I don't think she even realized that we're in a war zone. I think Spirit is saying that we can only warn so much, right? And this message keeps coming out for me because I have a very sneaky suspicion that there is going to come a time where I am going to be trying to save someone that I cannot save. They are going to have to want to save themselves. It may even be a case of spirit telling me that I will have to leave some people behind, even if I don't want to, even if it's scary. I have to let go of things that have been quote unquote holding me back. Things, people, places, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna have to let them go. And I'm still, I think right now, mentally and sometimes even physically, I'm trying to take those things with me. And spirit keeps reminding me that we cannot help everybody, okay? Excuse me. So as a woman gets so far, right? She puts a hole in her car and then like a hole in this wall. Now the one thing I remember about this dream is that when she gets to where the enemy line is, the sun, because we're in like the shadows, okay? The sun is almost blindingly bright, okay? And it is not until you get into the blindingly bright part of that area that you realize, oh shit, I'm in a war zone, which is what happened to her, right? But when she realized it, it was much too late, okay? Now, you can, like, literally, if this is not your story, if you don't, want to hear about death, you probably should click off of this video now, because I feel like this is specifically about passing, right? Because while I never saw the children die, the fact that I meet them again at a crossroad, as well as the woman, that to me signifies death, okay? Now, when she gets there, the enemy attacks, right? And her and the children end up not here, okay? And then the dream immediately jumps to me being at a crossroads where I end up with the kids, right? I'm holding the little baby, and then the boy that we saw that was running ahead, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was the boy, that was the young lady's child, okay? So here's the thing. I know that this is spirit telling me that while I may not be able to help in this life, so physically in this life, I may be able to help on the other side. I also think this is confirmation to me that I will be helping people to cross over. I haven't seen any specific signs of this. I've seen small signs of this in like my dreams, which is where I see a lot of signs about stuff like this. But I feel like this is spirit confirming what I've been thinking about myself for quite some time, but have not been able to confirm. And for it to come back up now, I feel like spirit is basically saying to me that now I'm ready. I'm moving into a new phase. Oh crap, okay, sorry. I just realized something while I was saying that. This is very possible that this is some steps that I'm going through, and I feel like this is the next phase. So that's what I'm getting from that. It may be something completely different from you, different for those of you who are listening to this. For some of you, this could be that you are meant to help others, right? Not just in this life, but on the other side. But a lot of that is going to have to do with us tapping into our ancestral background, us tapping into the history of who we are as people, as human beings, as, in our bloodline, what's in our bloodline that's being opened up to us, okay? So in the dream, I'm at the crossroads, right? And if you know anything about the crossroads, some people call it like purgatory, like the crossroads is like purgatory, where I think it's in the Bible, purgatory is like in between heaven and hell, right? I don't personally believe in the heaven and hell of the Bible. If you do, that's your preference. I believe that heaven and hell is a state of mind, and you can experience that in your everyday waking life if you so choose, right? But for the symbolism of this dream, I'm at a crossroads, right? And I feel like spirit is telling me that I will have a choice to decide if I want to take on this new task. And for me, even in the dream, it didn't feel like a choice, right? And I think the reason why it didn't feel like a choice to me is because it is something that I want to do, right? So I feel like for me, spirit is saying that while yes, you will have a choice, we already know what you're going to choose. You already know, because deep within your soul, this is something that you've been craving. This is something that you want to do. But you're going to have a little bit more practice and a lot more protection to like make sure that you're good, right? Because even like the symbolism of me being in the army, right? it was essentially protection, right? Helping other people, keeping other people safe, right? There are other connotations to the army, but for the purposes of this dream, I believe that protectiveness is what was coming out, and Spirit was saying that I'm going to have a general, quote unquote, who is going to be there to help me and to keep me out of harm's way, because there will be times where I cannot. And I think this came out in a recent dream interpretation that I did earlier this week, but essentially, Spirit is saying I will be put into a situation where I cannot always see, and sometimes there will be other people there who will help protect me while I'm on this path. Okay, so in the dream, I said I end up with the 2 children, and then I also end up helping a man. And now I don't remember what I helped him do, but I know that I helped him, right? And he comes up later in the dream when he talks to his mom. But I keep on going down the path. I see the lady comes. And it's crazy because even in quote unquote, what you would say passing or death, I'm not helping her, I'm helping the children, right? Because her and her husband, who I am assuming in this dream has passed as well, they're standing there arguing. I'm not even listening to them. I'm worried about the children, making sure the children go down this path, right? So I also think that that's very specific to what Spirit is telling me, is that maybe the people that I'm going to work with are more younger. I'm sure there's a possibility I could work with older people, but it feels like people of a younger generation are the people that I'm going to be helping, okay? So we start going down this path. The woman, the lady's husband, is arguing with her or mad with her because she drove the car and, end up getting the children and herself unalived. It says, there are a few people on the path with me, and the little boy was so far ahead, I told him to slow down and be in a place where I can see him, okay? He slowed down and I caught up, okay? Then there was a man that was talking to his mother, okay, about me helping, and he tells her like, oh my God, she saved my ass, right? I believe that this is the man from earlier that I helped, and I think it's also confirmation that Spirit is saying, yes, my focus will be probably mostly on the youth, but there will be people that I will help along this path, just because I will also say this, sometimes in helping one person, you can help 10 more, right? And I feel like it's a little bit of that, where I'm going to be helping not just young people, but I'm also going to be helping older people that are going down this path as well, okay? Where am I? Okay. Is the woman laughs and says, I believe you. And to me, like, I remember the feeling of her saying this. It was almost like he was such a klutz and such an idiot, so that she can absolutely believe that someone else was helping him. Okay. Then at some point, I was responsible for escorting scorpions down this path. Now, scorpions to me, they remind me of transformation. Okay. And for me to specifically be escorting scorpions, I think sometimes there will be times where the only way I don't want to say see, but the way I will see or visualize people or young people will be in transformation, right? Because it was so, like, I cannot describe it to you, but there were so many scorpions on the ground that I was guiding down this path. And to me, it feels like a lot of what I'm going to be doing is transformational work, but I may also, and to me, it's almost confirmation, like the transition, right? So the woman and her child, I'm helping them after they've transitioned. And I think Spirit is also saying that to me, a lot of the work that I'm going to do is going to be after transition. And I love when this happens. So when I started saying that, like, because it's raining where I'm at right now, like it's cloudy and raining. But when I started saying that, the sun just came out like so super bright and so super pretty. And I wish I could show it to you, but I love when the Spirit gives me confirmation like that, because sometimes even though I'm saying it, it's not me talking. So there is still doubt there. And Spirit always gives me confirmation, because I do sometimes doubt the things that are being said through me, that I'm speaking through me, because I know it's not me. Like, I would never say something like that. So I know it's not me that's talking. But anyway, back to what we were saying. the transformation, but I'm going to be dealing with a lot of people who are going through a transformation period, but a lot of them, I am going to be helping them after they go through the transformation, right? Or in the midst of their transformation. That's what I will be helping them. It's not going to be the start of it. It's going to be the in between and then the after the transformation. It's almost like after they transform, they have to go down this path, and then I'm going to help them go down this path, especially with all of the scorpions being there, okay? Then there was something like a scorpion was holding a dog and the dog was howling. And I feel like, to me, that's indicative of like people who, you know how sometimes people say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I feel like there will be a lot of situations where that will be happening, right? Once you transform, you can't unsee it. And there will be some people that will be fighting, and there will be other transformations that will be holding on to those individuals until they get to the point where they can accept this transformation, okay? Let me see. And then there was a part, yes, it says, somebody wanted me to take monkeys with me, but I was scared they were gonna shit everywhere. I think Spirit is saying that, like, not every person that comes along this path is gonna look the exact same. So, like, take this for example. Let's say if you are a middle school teacher and you have the kids that you really, really like, right? They're really super sweet. They're really, like, predictable, so to speak. Like, they're so loving and all that kind of stuff, right? But then you have those kids who are like just the rowdiest of the bunch, right? And to me, I always say that those kids need more love than the kids who are a little bit more self-sufficient with their own love, because there's a lot of it that they're getting at home. I feel like Spirit is saying that I'm going to be dealing with people who, they're going to want the transformation, but they're also going to be a bit of a shithead, right? They're going to be causing havoc, and I need to be okay with not just dealing with the ones who go peacefully, but also the ones who need a little bit of a nudge, who need a little bit more extra tender love and care. And you may know some people like this in your life right now who need a little bit more extra love and tender love and care. So Spirit may be telling you that you may need to hold their hands a little bit more than you would do with other people, okay? And then there were 2 black feathers that were turned in the opposite direction on the ground when something was being passed on. I feel like feathers for me are going to be confirmation about a lot that's happening in my life. Number one, birds have started to come into my life super heavy recently. So I really believe that this is confirmation. I also feel like the 2 feathers turning in opposite directions is Spirit guiding me. Spirit is saying that I'm always going to have a compass, whether it's an inner compass or an outer compass, of where I'm going, and I'm always going to know whether or not I'm on the right path, right? And, you know, in certain situations, who to give a little bit more love to, and, you know, who else might be a little bit more sufficient. And I just saw 222 on the clock, so I wanted to say that. Okay, so we're going to pull a couple of cards just to see if we can get any more additional messages that Spirit might have for myself or for anybody who's listening to this dream interpretation. So let's pull some cards. All right, so let's pull from the dream deck. Yeah, this is the dream ritual deck. Spirit, okay, thank you. So we have adventure. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then we have empathy. Spirit, thank you. Thank you. We have synchronicity. And one more card, please, Spirit. We have approve. Let's see if that's supposed to stay out. Spirit, is that card supposed to stay out? Oh, yes. Okay. And then bottom deck energy is trust. Okay, I'm going to move these over a little bit. Okay, so our first card was adventure, right? And empathy. I think these cards both go together because I feel like because I want to do this, this is something I actually want to do. And I know most people wouldn't like volunteer for this, but it's actually something that I want to do. Spirit is saying that this will be a very adventurous path. There will be so many things that I'm going to get to see and experience by going down this path. And I'm hearing the word travel, so that could be a confirmation for someone else or me as well, that I will get to travel and go on a lot of adventures because of part of what I'm meant to do in this life. And this could be physical travel. This could be traveling in your sleep. This could be traveling to other worlds. Sorry if you heard the ice machine. And then we have empathy. Spirit is telling me to make sure that I have empathy for those I might meet. And kind of like what we talked about with the dream, right? That I didn't want the monkeys because I thought they were going to shit everywhere. Spirit is saying that not everybody's going to be cookie cutter down this path, right? It's going to be an adventure. And the one thing I love about adventure is every day is never the same, right? I love jobs where I can go into that job and today can be completely different than what yesterday was like, right? And I feel like Spirit is saying that I'm going to need to have a lot of empathy for those people that come down my path. Some people I may not necessarily like what they did in their everyday quote unquote 3D life or 2D life. I may not necessarily like it, but I will have to have empathy because I don't know what their path is. I don't know what their journey is. I'm just meant to help them on this particular transitional phase. Okay. And then we have synchronicity here. So this is just confirmation to me that Spirit is saying every time we're saying your angel numbers and like certain things, just like you see the synchronicities. Like a perfect example when I was talking about the scorpions, right? And how the sun just started shining like super bright outside, even though it's like gloomy and it is rainy where I am right now. How the sun started shining, and I don't know if you can see it in the card. It's starting to come out a little bit more, but the sun started shining. Spirit is saying that there are going to be a lot. Yeah, it's getting brighter. There's going to be a lot of synchronicity on my path. This is Spirit saying that, you know, this is also confirmation, like in real time confirmation, saying that that sun that you saw, that was confirmation of what we're saying, that you're going to be dealing with people that are in a lot of transitional phases, whether it's transitioning from this life to the next, whether it's transitioning from one mental or belief that you've had to another belief. I believe Spirit is saying that there will be a lot of help that I'll be giving during transformational phases, and it's just confirming that, you know, that synchronicity, that there are going to be a lot of synchronicities around me, things that will prove that I'm on the right path. And then we have approve after that, like, and I love that this looks like the sun to me. And Spirit is saying that we approve of this path. We approve of kind of, it's going to sound weird, but we approve of your love of wanting to do this, of wanting to help others, of wanting to look out for others. We approve of this. But Spirit is also asking me to fully trust in Spirit, to understand that this path is not an easy path. It is an adventurous path, but it's also not an easy path. And I need to trust where I'm being led, even if sometimes it is scary, even if sometimes I cannot understand it, even if sometimes it does not make all that much sense to me. Okay, so let's get a couple more cards. Spirit, can we get some more cards, please, for the dream interpretation? Any additional messages we need to hear at this time? Wow. We have the sleeper, cause and effect clarity. I love when this card come out through dream interpretations, because sleep, right? How do you get the dreams? Through sleep, right? But Spirit is also telling me that because it has cause and effect clarity, Spirit is saying that a lot of clarity will keep coming to me, not only in my dreams, but about my dreams, right? Because for a long time, I've been having dreams that I could not interpret, and Spirit is saying that my clarity is going to get better, right? That my eyes will be open. And it would be crazy if I got the sleeper card and the waker card, because there's a card here, like this one has the eyes closed, there's one with eyes open. But Spirit, any other additional messages? Any other cards? Can we get some more cards with some additional messages that we need to hear? And then we have the tailor. It says attention to detail, pride. Yeah, Spirit is, I feel like Spirit is telling me that this path is tailor-made for me. I would not be on it if I was not ready, which is why this dream happened in December, but it's only now that I feel truly prepared for this path. Spirit, can I get one more card, please, on the bottom deck energy? Any additional messages that you need to hear at this time? Okay, we have the thief. It says seizing the moment, selfishness. And then we have the bottom deck energy, which is sentinel, determination, certainty. This card, for some reason, always makes me think about like a protector, being fully protected down this path. And I feel like this is Spirit just saying that long as I keep the determination up and be more certain of who I am and the path that I'm supposed to be on, that I should keep going. And I want to say this because I didn't read this dream, but it was on the page, because normally what happens is I flip, right? So I take the book. Hold on, I'll show you. So I take the book and I flip like this, right? And then I just ask Spirit, like, you know, let me know when to stop, right? So usually when I stop on that page, I don't necessarily know which dream is which, or which one is I'm supposed to read. So I read through them, right? There was another dream I read through, and it's funny that this is coming out. This season, the moment, and being like, what is it? Having certainty, right? Determination and certainty. In the other dream that I had, I was talking to a young lady, and she was telling me that she knew that I was a powerful reader. So like a tarot reader or oracle reader. Because I feel like, me personally, I feel like I'm more of an oracle reader than a tarot reader. I don't really resonate with tarot like that. Oracle is my bag, right? That's where I feel the most comfortable. And in the dream, she said it to me twice, I believe, that I was powerful, and then she knew my readings would be on point, like things like that. And I agreed with her, but in the back of my mind, I was like, oh my God, please don't ask me to read anything for you, because I don't know if I can. Like, I'm always second guessing it. And Spirit is saying to have certainty in my gifts, right? I wouldn't be doing this if it was not on the path. And I've already gotten confirmation from several other readers, people that I've done readings for, that I'm on the right path. But sometimes we need that little reminder, right? We need the determination to keep going, okay? So we talked about the sleeper a little bit, the cause and effect. I feel like Spirit is telling me, like I said before, that there is more clarity that's going to come to me about this path in my dream, but also in my waking life, where I'll be actually able to understand and clarify what has been given to me in my dreams. And then we have the tailor. It says attention to detail, pride. Spirit is saying that this path was tailor-made for me, to have pay a little bit more attention to details, not just because, like, perfect example, in the dream, I had like a blue bra, right? And for some reason, the color blue and the number 3 has been coming out heavy for me. So I'm always paying attention to my dreams. Like, what colors am I seeing? Like the other day, I had a dream of like really just like almost unbelievably green grass. Like, it was so green, it didn't even look real, right? And I made sure that I made note of that in my dream journal, because I know it means something. So Spirit may be asking you, and I know it's asking me, to pay a little bit more attention to detail, to make sure that I am writing down everything, especially when it comes to my dreams. If there is something that's being said to me, to take note of it and ask Spirit about it later, to pay attention to those small details that I may necessarily be missing, okay? And then we have the thief. It says seizing the moment, selfishness, sorry. Spirit is asking me to be a little bit more selfish, which is hard for me. Even down this path, even though I'm supposed to be helping others, Spirit is saying to help myself as well, to also understand that rest and rejuvenation is important. And I notice that a lot of people get this message right before they go into a really heavy, busy period of their life. Because sometimes if we're excited and we really want to serve Spirit, and we want to serve God or Buddha or whoever you believe in, or the universe or Spirit, when we really are excited about going down these paths, sometimes we can overdo it, right? We're like, oh, I'll take on everything. And I feel like Spirit is telling me that there's so much that we need you to do, but we need you to be selfish at times. We need you to seize the moment, okay? Absolutely seize the moment. Take it, learn everything that you can learn, help as many people that you can help, but don't forget that you're a person too. Don't forget that you need help too. And it's okay to be a little bit selfish and say, okay, listen, I can't do this today. So like, perfect example, if I am fully booked on readings and someone comes to me and say, oh my God, I really, really need this reading, right? And I don't have the mental capacity to do it, then it's okay to say, you know what, I'm so sorry, I cannot do this right now. And I just saw 3303. So that's confirmation for me. Spirit is telling me that things are about to pick up, things are about to get busy, but I still need to remember that just like everybody else that I'm helping needs help, so do I. Just like everybody else needs rejuvenation, just like everybody else needs support, so do I. I will need that support as well. So this is all the messages that I'm getting from this dream interpretation. I really, really, really appreciate you all hanging with me all the way to the end. Thank you so much for sitting with me and sticking this out, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time in our next dream interpretation. Bye.